What's going on, everybody? Kipp here with Omnia Fishing. Yes, there's a new face behind the rod bending wall right now. As some of you know, if you watched our last rod bending video, Polish Pete took a different opportunity in the fishing industry, and he left some gigantic shoes to fill. So we're going to give it our best shot here. We wish Pete nothing but the best. He's done an amazing job. He also left you with a giveaway. So right now we're running a giveaway for a $200 Omnia Fishing gift card. We're going to announce the winner as soon as we hit 7,000 YouTube subscribers. When we posted that last video, you got us about halfway there, so keep going with those subscriptions. But today we're talking about my top 5 rods of 2024. So this is just going to be the rods that I had most success with, the rods that I thought were the most fun to fish. But we're going to kick it off with this guy right here. This is the Daiwa Tatula Elite. It's a 7'5" heavy power, fast actions, the Chris Johnston flipping small jigs rod. Ironically enough, I don't think I've ever flipped a jig on this rod. I do a lot of other things. It's super versatile, and that's why it made the top 5 for me. But this rod is relatively budget friendly. It's right under 200 bucks. And it came in at 4.9 ounces. So not the lightest rod on earth, but it is a 7'5", so there's a little bit more graphite to work with there. But this has been an awesome rod for mag drafts, bigger Kitex. I throw chickens on it, football jigs. But we're going to go ahead to the rod wall for my first ever rod bend of the Daiwa Tatula Elite 7'5" heavy fast action rod. All right, we're back with the Daiwa Tatula 7'5" heavy power fast action flipping rod. As you can see here on the wall, it's exactly that. It's a super stout rod with a fast action. And I could see where Chris Johnston is going to use it for flipping jigs. For me, I usually run straight braid on it, or braid to a leader. So this would be a little bit stiff for me, but anything offshore, again, a mag draft, a chicken, this rod's got a ton of power. So it does have a fairly soft tip, but when you get into the backbone of that rod, there's no question you could turn a fish around really quick. So on to the next rod of my top 5 rods of 2024. All right, we're back with my second rod of my top 5 rods of 2024. And this is the Daiwa BLX 7-foot medium heavy extra fast. Came in at 4.1 ounces, so relatively light for a 7-footer. But this has been my jig rod so far. It does feel a little bit like cheating because I only got this rod a couple of months ago. But I've had it out a handful of times and it handles a jig awesome. I typically run braid to a leader on this rod, so that braid gives it a little bit more power. It acts a little bit more like a medium heavy plus. But this rod is awesome. It's the most expensive rod I own. I try to keep most of my rods at that $200 mark or under. I just feel like that's the best bang for your buck. But this rod, especially with a bottom contact presentation like a jig, a little bit more sensitivity, doesn't hurt. So this is the Daiwa BLX 7-foot medium heavy extra fast. Let's go see what the rod wall has to say. All right, we're here with the Daiwa 7-foot medium heavy BLX extra fast action. And it definitely is just that. By imparting just a little bit of power into the rod here, it's bending just at the tip. If I really give it a little bit of pressure, it does load further into the blank, which is kind of what I want with the jig rod. I want a light tip so I can read like deflection in the rod. If I'm hung up, if I get a bite, I can visually see that rod tip adjust based on what I'm hitting down there. But when I load into a fish, when I set the hook, I want it to bend fairly deep into the rod blank. That's why I prefer a medium heavy or over a heavy. I feel like it loads deeper into the blank. I can keep fish pinned a little bit better. And running braid to a leader definitely helps with that too. But yeah, relatively light in hand. It's got a shorter handle. Skipping around docks and things of that nature is going to be super easy. This is a rod that isn't on the market anymore, but if you can find one, secondhand on Facebook or Craigslist or something like that, this is definitely one I'd pick up. Been super happy with it so far, and Yeah, let's move on to the next one. All right, we're back with an interesting one here. This is a rod I got a year or two ago. Wanted to try them out. They're a smaller company, custom-esque rods. This is the Alpha Angler Zilla. It's a 7'3" medium heavy fast action. Kind of their do-all rod. They market it as like a frog rod, jig rod, Texas rig rod. For me, it's a little bit soft for a frog rod. Open water frog rod would be great. But when you're in the thick stuff, I would prefer a little bit stouter rod. But for me, this has been 1/4 ounce to 5/8 Texas rig rod, and it is killer for that. This rod came in at 4.6 ounces, and I feel like it's not one that you hear a whole lot about. So wanted to bring it on here and put it to the wall and see how it bends. Maybe you guys can learn a thing or two. Let's go test out the 7'3" medium heavy fast Alpha Angler Zilla. All right, we're back with that Zilla, 7'3" medium heavy fast action. And I kind of have some thoughts on it already. I've used it for a couple of years, but what I'm noticing is the tip is a little bit stiffer than fast action would be to me. And I actually really like that. So with the tip being stiff, it feels like the rod is loading deeper into the blank. And I really like that for fighting a fish. So, you know, this rod is going to excel for your single hook baits, like a swim jig, a Texas rig, a jig even, but it's got a ton of power. You know, if you're running straight fluorocarbon, you could throw just about any jig you want on it. For me, using braid to a leader, I tend to go with a jig with a stouter hook. But Texas rig to me is where it really shines. You can kind of see, at least from my angle, just even putting a little bit of pressure on that tip, it seems like it wants to bend deeper into the blank. So if you have a chance to pick one of these up, definitely give the Alpha Angler Zilla a look. All right, we're back, and we're up in Minnesota, so I had to throw in at least one spinning combo. This is the Daiwa Tatula, standard Tatula cork rod. This is the 7'3" medium extra fast. They call it their drop shot rod. Again, I kind of use it for everything but a drop shot. This rod has a lot more power than what I typically throw in a drop shot rod. It would probably be great for, you know, a Texas rig drop shot, but for an open hook application, I tend to go for a softer rod. This rod, like I said, does just about everything though. I'll throw a wacky rig, a Nico rig. It's a killer Ned rig rod, smaller swim baits. If you're looking for like one rod to cover most spinning rod applications, this is one I'd recommend. It's only 150 bucks, and it's got great components, a nice blank. This one came in at 3.9 ounces, fairly light for a 7'3" rod, but I will say it feels a tad tip heavy. I do have a 4,000 size reel on it, so it balances out okay. But I think that's due to, I don't think they counterbalance this, or if they do, it's not a ton. But it's a light rod, just a little bit tip heavy. But for 150 bucks, that's to be expected, and I think it's an awesome rod. So let's go bend the 7'3" medium extra fast Daiwa Tatula cork edition. All right, here we are with that 7'3" medium extra fast Daiwa Tatula rod, the drop shot rod. And you know, right away when I'm putting a little bit of power into it, I can kind of see that extra fast action, at least from here. But when you put any real power into it, it feels like it's bending fairly deep into the blank. So I would tend to lean more towards a fast action rod here, but it's got a ton of power once you get into the back. So again, I think this is more for your bigger finesse hook applications, a wacky rig, Nico rig, Ned rig. For me, a light wire drop shot hook, this would be a little bit overpowering. But again, it's got a great action for landing fish. It loads a little bit deeper into the blank. So this is one that's readily available. We carry it here at Omnia. And this is actually the rod that I caught my PB Smallie on up on Mille Lacs. So this is a certified fish catching rod. If you're in the market for an all-around spinning rod, definitely check out this one. All right, we're here with the last rod of this rod bend. But before we get into this rod, I wanted to give a quick reminder that we do have a giveaway going on right now. You have a chance to win a $200 Omnia Fishing gift card. To enter that giveaway, go back to our last rod bending video, give that video a like, subscribe to the channel, and then leave a comment down below. It could be about your favorite rod. You could wish Pete farewell, anything like that. But those three things will enter you to win a $200 Omnia Fishing gift card. We will announce that gift card winner as soon as we hit 7,000 subscribers. So we're almost there. Hopefully by our next rod bending video, we can make that announcement. But as soon as we get there, we'll let you guys know. Don't fall for any scams. We're not going to respond to your comments saying you won the giveaway. We'll announce it right here on the channel. All right, now we got that out of the way. Last rod for today's rod bending is a Daiwa Rebellion. I feel like the Rebellion line in general is kind of the you don't know what you have until it's gone situation. I've got a handful of these and I wish I had a handful more. They have been discontinued, unfortunately. Not sure if we still have this model in stock, but I think we have a couple models left. If it fits what you're looking for, I would definitely jump on it. This is the 7'9" heavy. I believe it's a fast action rod. Yeah, 7'9" heavy, fast action. Came in at 5 ounces flat. Seems heavy, but this is a 7'9" rod, heavy rod. So actually relatively light in hand. And this thing is a workhorse. I know a 7'9" heavy doesn't seem like there are that many applications that would fit it, but I caught several of my biggest bass this year on this exact setup. So let's bring it to the wall. The 7'9" Daiwa Rebellion, heavy power, fast action. All right, here we are with that 7'9" Daiwa Rebellion, heavy power, fast action. And yeah, as soon as you hit it, this thing's got some muscle to it. Right away, I mentioned that I caught some of my biggest fish this year on this setup here. It's probably because of the techniques I like to throw on it. This is my main punching setup, so going through the absolute thickest stuff. I throw 3/4 ounce to 1.5 ounce weights on it. Caught some of the biggest largies of the year on this guy, but I also throw it for an A-rig a ton. In Minnesota, we only get one hook, so it's a Minnesota rig, but I used to throw that on a swim bait, a 8-footer, heavy, long handle, and this is just less cumbersome. It's a flipping rod, but when you load into it, it does have a bend fairly deep into the blank, and I just found that a lighter rod, shorter handle, easier to throw those A-rigs. Now, if you're in a different state where you get 5 hooks, you got a bunch of jig heads, bunch of plastics on it, you probably want to go with that swim bait rod, but up here, a flipping rod does the trick, and it was a lot easier on my body slinging around a big A-rig all day. So this one is a beast of a rod, and it handles both punching and A-rigs flawlessly. So if you're in the market for a big bait rod, or a big line rod, I should say, the Daiwa 7'9" heavy, fast action Rebellion is a killer rod. Again, I don't know if you can find them out there, but if you can, I would jump on it. I'm looking for a second one, just in case this thing breaks. But thank you for watching. Reminder again, that giveaway we got going on, go watch our last rod bending video. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll announce the winner on the next one. See you guys.